Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Threadlings, a filmmaking production diary. My name is Miguel Ortega, and this is Tran.
Hello, everyone.
Um, how's everybody doing? Is anybody even here today? Because everybody's out for Christmas. If you're in front
Yeah,
of a computer today, you should not be in front of a computer today.
yeah. I think the crowd is especially small,
Yeah,
um, or maybe we just talk to ourselves.
I think the crowd is literally me, you, and then the four that we see there are like, you know how it's automatically connected to like Twitch, Facebook,
Yeah,
YouTube.
I think we're completely by ourselves today.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah. Um, oh, look, Ruben's there. He's one of the four. He's a real person.
Ruben is here. That's good.
Um, oh, yeah.
Someone else?
No, no, not at all. But anyway, so I'm just going to continue from where I left off last week, which is basically I've been working on this stage, uh, which is the location has changed a little bit. It looks like this right now. And just to give everyone a look, it's not completely done. I haven't lit it, and there are some gaps like right around here where the doors are. So I'm trying to correct that. This was kit bashed in certain parts, so there's like weird spaces and some kind of strange overlapping happening. And so I'm trying to cover that with like banners and flags. I do want to build like a kind of a rug here. I think it would look nice. And then that would kind of wrap up.
Look at all the Zorts.
Yeah, so it's not going to be full of all these Zorts.
The claw.
Basically, this is just kind of like an idea, getting an idea of the crowd. So if you weren't here for any of the previous streams, one of the things that we talked about was um, this is the scene is like he's doing a presentation. It's very big, and crowd sizes can really tank your performance. So the design of the space is meant to feel like large, but somehow still be small, which is like really contradicting. Because what we don't want is to like look out into the audience and there's like thousands of people.
We have Winrick.
Oh yeah, look we had.
We have two. We have two people.
Yeah. So the point of this is like trying to avoid overly large crowds because basically Unreal would crash for us because of the way we work. We use a lot of limbic caching, and anytime you have an actual limbic in here, it does slow down the scene, and you could feel it even if it's just like one or two characters. So this is a compromise we came at, where the ground space, if you look from the top, my camera is like super wide right now, like the actual lens. But if you look from the top, it's actually quite small. Let's throw in the light.
We're probably going to keep today's episode short, by the way, just so you guys know.
Yeah.
Because I am traveling and.
Well, yeah, you gotta go see family and stuff and get to the airport.
Yes, ma'am.
So in any case, you can see this has a small footprint on the ground, but in order to make it grand, we have a lot of height. So I'll just move forward. But for anyone who's new, you can kind of see what the set looks like. You can't really easily fit the whole set into any camera angle, but I do know like, Mayo is gonna have a bit in here where he's gonna be on some part of the top of the ceiling somewhere up here. I don't know where exactly. That's for Miguel and like animation to block that out. And so we will get like some shots where we're up high, and then we could see some, hopefully some of this grand scale in the shot. And it will remain pretty dark, as like how theater should remain. But let's jump over here. And let me actually minimize this properly because, yeah, it still feels like it's running. So where I left us off last week it's at a very strange stage right now. Is I basically built like um half of this, and I'm going to and I deleted the other half so that I could UV it. And then I want to build out the floor afterward. Okay, so I remember this part mentioning last week in the stream what I have to do in order to get this to fit.
I'm already editing some stuff here, which I'll be able to show in a little bit, which is going to be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, Miguel has got more exciting stuff.
I don't know about more exciting, but it's
Well, I feel it's more exciting whatever I'm doing. Which is I'm about to do UVs, which is not very exciting. Okay, so that's part of what he wants to show. See, that already sounds like more exciting than me like fussing with this. I don't know if everyone can hear the audio that he's trying to play. But basically what I'm doing here is I'm UVing this side before I mirror it. And the reason why I'm doing that is because once I mirror it, the UVs will actually be just duplicated. So when I texture this, I only texture one side. And then the other side just gets automatically textured. So it saves me a lot of time on the actual texturing to handle this correctly. And then some of these pieces here just don't fit because they're just too long, like this one. And those pieces have to be chopped up. Okay, so this one's like a little bit too large. This one's also not quite fitting. So I'm basically just playing Tetris. Okay, so I want to correct this one here. Ideally, when I lay these out, I try to match the original layout so it's easier to paint. But in this case, I really want to maximize my UV space more. So we can use like a lot of texture resolution in Unreal. So although Unreal is like games, we treat this with like film resolution textures, which means like there are tons of UDIMs in all our stuff. And Unreal handles it like really, really incredible. I don't know what what the audience does, but if you guys UV, maybe you find this relaxing. This is like one of those like sorting games. And I want to make sure I don't overlap. I think I'll scale this just a little bit. This one I need to fix. I don't really want to cut this one up. And then this one won't fit unless I do something like that, which kind of ruins the UV space. Okay, so these two will be sliced up. This definitely has to be sliced up. Okay, a lot of these have to be sliced up. So I'm trying to like slice them up so that they have texture resolution. One of the things that works really well um, so far and what we've done is that, you know, when you get really close to anything, um, the texturing holds up pretty well. You know, we'll never get this close, but even like at this distance, you know, I can see the stitches and it doesn't look pixelated. And that really helps make everything look nicer. And in fabric, generally, you need higher resolution, in my opinion, because you want to like feel the weave of the fabric. Even when it's really far and it gets blurry, you do feel like the textile. Here's a comment. I actually enjoy UVing as I get turn my brain off. Turn some tunes, just go at it. That's exactly what I say. Um, well, I'm trying to UV this in Marvelous, so that UV tools kind of suck. And you know, if I was, you know, doing this in Maya, it would probably crash. I don't think anything fits here. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to shrink this one down just a little bit because otherwise I'm going to end up with cuts everywhere. I don't want to slice like every piece up. But actually UVing in here kind of sucks to be truthful because the rotation is kind of weird. So when I want to try to straighten stuff, it like snaps all strange and crooked. It's gotten better. Okay, nothing fits. Let me just like reevaluate the design. Let's go back. So you can see it's like a big priority for me to get texture resolution. Nothing is worse than when you go into a shot. Let me color code this. Nothing is worse to me, at least, when you go into a shot and then the environment falls apart. Like you got too close to it, and it just looks terrible. So, and then you're just like, oh man, this just doesn't look good. I have to rework this. And it just is so much work. So what I'm doing right now is kind of weird. I'm basically, I just want to see what my stuff looks like because all of these shapes are cut and I can't tell what is what. And I just want to see the pattern. Um, like a visual pattern so I know how to slice it. So the pattern is, you know, an actual design. It's going to get quilted and puffed up. Okay. And then this one here, I forgot if I wanted to slice, yeah. So these are the ones I want to cut. Okay. I have to cut this one too. It's like basically almost everything. I think here I need to guess how many, like this needs to be cut in like 3 pieces. I'll do it like this. I'll just split this into 3 dots.
Where is my
Let's see, here's a question. In terms of textile density and fabrics, do you ever utilize tile texture to get resolution of the weave? Actually, we don't do that. I think I know what you mean. Like you can work in a way in Unreal. Like I've seen game artists work very efficiently where they'll tile a certain section and it'll be set up in their shader like that so that and then you have like some normal textures. We're not really doing that in this one because I think like some of the stuff has to be just customized. And we just need the resolution ultimately. So I haven't doesn't make sense yet, but it's possible like we would try to do that maybe next time. I guess my thinking is like I'm not doing that because I need um like the resolution to do the stitching in any case, right? So then tiling and then having high res stitches, it seems like more work, if that makes sense. And then on the texturing side, there's actually like shading and things to do to make the cloth pop out more. And it just is kind of invisible work, but it just makes it feel like, you know, like a little bit more distinct and less mushy. Okay, so this could be here. I'm basically relaying out all this stuff. Because all these have to be sliced.
Take a look at this. Let me share this so I can show you something. Da, 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 da. Positive life motivations. Hi everyone. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so let me see. Let me see.
Okay, that's way too long.
Actually, let me try that one more time. Okay, so take a look at this. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So we know this whole sequence here. Obviously, the music is not synced, so no sound notes. That's what I got so far.
Play it again.
So he chases after them. Let me do it without the music.
Yeah. Chases after them, catches Mayo, caught, turns around. Mayo is flung across the room.
So there's a shot missing in between, which is caught running back, right? Which would probably be right there. Like Caught will start running towards them. He does this. Oh shit! Now you close up of Cod going right coming at him, and then that's what makes him do this. I basically would cut it like right here, and then he just gets annoyed and throws Mayo. Which I want that throw to feel longer. Because that doesn't feel that far to me.
It feels pretty. Yeah, I mean, you mean the shot? Like it does. It does seem like he is going far.
It doesn't to me.
Okay.
Like that run feels like they're running for a long time.
Yeah. That's one of those shots I think the motion blur is going to obviously make it feel faster.
Yeah, for sure.
You
So
know,
this could even be a little bit longer. So I do have like this, because this shot might be fun to really drag it out a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Because you just had this pop of action with him rising up.
yeah.
So then you cut to this kind of, and I have this a little bit longer here also, which is, right, which is Mayo trying to punch him.
Yeah, I like that a little, like him. Well, I don't know. What do you think?
I like it. My worry is just maintaining the rhythm. But
Yeah,
I
it
think
like I see what you mean.
like I do think that that's too long now, the run. I like it, but
Yeah. Yeah, I see in the comments like someone
oh, look who it is. So he's here.
yeah. So and look who else is here?
Who else?
Byron.
Oh shit, look at that.
Unknown variant. Okay. And
Camera tracking.
yeah. And then I see a comment about Rhythm. I heard about Rhythm. I haven't used it. Or is it Rhythm?
The camera tracking the head movement. Which shot is that? Oh, it's I'm assuming it's probably just this one. That one. Yeah, it's this one. Yeah. Because the camera really tries to keep the head. I think I just need this to speed up. Like I almost, let me see. I'm gonna try something here.
Are you adjusting the tempo of the edit?
Yeah. The thing that's tough is I definitely need Cod to come running.
To really know, right?
Yeah, and I also I don't think this is the exact camera. I think the camera has to do that, which is good. But then by the time he lands, you want to be kind of looking, you want him to be kind of looking a little bit more diagonal. Like it is already a little diagonal, but even more like he's looking more at us, not directly at us, but we're looking at him more straight ahead.
Ah,
His
okay.
eye line. Yeah, something like that.
You know, when I look at this, like, I can't wait to see, like, you know, the cloth simulation,
On this
yeah,
stuff?
the lighting, the motion blur, all that stuff, like, really
Yeah, for sure.
adds a lot. You know what? I don't know. Like, Miguel and I were having this discussion about how motion blur looks in Unreal.
I could always spot Unreal motion blur.
It just has a look, huh?
Yeah. Okay, you get take over for now.
Yay, back to me. Well, I just did a bunch of boring stuff, so hopefully that speeds us up. So I'm basically slicing all this so that it fits. I can get the UDIMs I need. But again, also the way I'm cutting it makes it very efficient for texturing. So the texturing is much faster. And this takes me like maybe 15 extra minutes of work. I guess maybe it's longer than that because now that I'm streaming, I'm like, oh, I guess this is slower than I thought it was inside my mind. But in terms of like how much time this saves me in texturing, it's like a tremendous amount of time.
Have you guys animated cameras in Unreal to get an idea of motion? We always do the cameras in Unreal. So like those cameras that you see here, like these are very temp. I would definitely go back in and rework them. That's one of the things I feel that maybe I want to add to this when I look at it is I want to add more chaos to these cameras. So I think I'd maybe would do, just as an example, since I don't have the camera here, like I would almost like do something like this.
Like what? Are you showing something?
Oh yeah, I don't. I'm not the one.
Sorry, like what are you
You're
showing?
the one. You're the one that's more like this. Like just add a little bit more chaos to it. Do you see what I mean?
Do it? Oh yeah.
And like even here, I think what I would probably do, like even though the camera's doing this, which this is going to be kind of a very weird thing to do. So we do this, boom. let's see. I would maybe cut. I don't know if this is going to work at all. But this is where he would something like that. So you see, he would do something more like this. But he's got to come running.
He's got to come running right away, as that camera like does that, right?
Yeah, and then I would cut to this like this. So it comes running. And this can be that's much better. You see what I mean? So we get some of that energy in the camera, and then boom, holy fuck, he does energy, and he comes running, Tra. Throws this thing. Now cut to Cot coming running really proudly and tough. But all of a sudden he realizes that he's up against Zort, and he freaks out, and then Zort just grabs him, slams him into the wall. Boom, super hard. That's better. Something like that. Okay, you could take it back.
Oh, to my awesome boring stuff.
All the animation is done in Maya, but not the cameras. Yeah, the camera angle when he lands is not good yet.
So I'm just continuing to slice this stuff up.
And I agree, upward view, so he looks more like you're fucked. So the idea is, okay, so after he does that, he throws him up against the wall, Kot comes running towards Zort to try to help his friend. Holy shit, he's up against Zort. Now he kind of cowers, and Zort grabs him by the neck and just pummels him into the wall, like really freaking hard.
Like just
Right?
slams him, like smashes him.
Slams him hard. Like you almost want to feel bad for Kot. Like, Jesus Christ, what are you guys doing? And all of a sudden you hear ah, and then Mayo drops from the ceiling with his like a leg drop, like a total WWE wrestling move.
Yeah, so Mayo, I'm so excited about Mayo. He's gonna do really like
Yeah.
wrestling move. Keep going.
Hold on, let me block someone's posting like spam. Then he grabs Zort by the freaking hat, and then he falls up and down and up and down and up and down a bunch of times. And Zort then just like boom, he like explodes into like red flames, and he like levitates and then sends cotton mail flying, but this time they don't land cool, and then they run up the stairs to go get help.
Yeah, they get they get in a real brawl. Um, I don't know. I really want to see it. Absolutely. I'm excited. Because like as for most of you guys know, like this story starts out like for anyone following it, it starts out much more. You think it's going to be much cuter,
Yeah, and
right?
then it all goes to it goes to freaking hell.
Yeah, I mean, you think it's going to be so much cuter because they start in their bedroom and their bedroom design is like supposed to be very cute. Or, we did our best to make it cute, and then it just seems like a much softer adventure, or like a Pixar movie or something like that. But it's clearly not. But I can't wait to get to that. This is the most inefficient UVing space, and so this does take me a while. Then I'm realizing like this is not fast, but it's absolutely worth the Tetris. But in any case, so I am excited to see that stuff because I know that like for anyone who's like going to see this for the first time and they haven't been on the stream, they haven't seen like our progress, they definitely are going to expect it to be more DreamWorks or something like that.
Yeah.
And then when we get into the action, it's just not like that, and it's totally an adventure story.
Yeah. Let me see if I have the where is it?
I gotta Tetris these slanted pieces as best as I can. I'm always really tempted to get lazy on this, um, but I always regret it. You got to do the crappy job as best as you can. I can probably bring these stragglers in here, and then these guys here. Anyway, you want to say anything?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the edit. I'm just totally in a total trance, like trying to.
Well, say what you're thinking, because I can't say anything I'm thinking because it's. I'm just like this shape fits in this shape in my mind.
Oh, look who's here too. Daria is here. You guys get the hell off the computer. Go look at the sunlight.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, I don't know who everyone is in this stream. Um, but some of the students pop up in the stream, and they are usually like the best students in the entire school. So like,
Here's
yeah.
a question from Byron. It's a good question. Definitely seems a lot more emphasis on action in this short. Did that change the approach to cameras and edit a little? The rhythm changes definitely. The Nino was such a slow burning, boring fucking short that I never wanted to keep things. I always wanted to try to move things as much as possible. And I kept trying to tell Tran, I want to do more action just to prove to myself that I can do it. And the voice in the hollow just doesn't have it besides the racing. But I really wanted to try to do more action. And this is like the perfect thing for it. But so the main thing is just thinking about the rhythm, just like think how it flows. It's almost like a song, right? So just it can never just think, oh, this is a cool shot. Like, does it mess up the rhythm? And that's the main focus right now. Is I'm like, okay, he grabs him, he pulls him up. That action has to move at a certain rhythm so that it doesn't stunt that momentum that is building. So that's kind of the stuff that I'm thinking of.
And that, that in huge part is the art of editing, right? Like everything that Miguel is talking about is the artistry that you see in it.
Yeah, so that's the main thing that I'm thinking of. So it definitely changes it because the voice in the hollow doesn't have that as much. It has it in key moments.
It doesn't have as much, but it does have more camera movement. So like just to back up a little bit, when we our, our Nino is a for those who don't know, the Nino is a live action short
I
that
think
we
it was
did.
our film school ultimately.
Yeah, but it was live action. And because it was live action, when we made it back then, we didn't have Unreal. Like it's just not the way it is now. And so all of our shots had to be locked off because we would get like render hits where it would be like, you know,
24 hours a frame.
yeah, we like some of the big shots that are nice looking where they're really wide and you can see everything. It literally took 24 hours to render one frame. So we were like, we just could not render anything basically for real. Um, and so all our stuff have to be really locked off with kind of some camera movements done in post. But even then, like when if you do a camera movement in post and you don't want it to feel really phony, it's it's all like subtle push-ins, and that's it, which still is like again still very locked off feeling. And then when we did Voice in the Hall, we were doing stuff in Unreal, and it was like, oh, you do not have to do locked off shots. You can move shit around now. And that was like that was incredible actually. It was like a huge change for us to be able to do all that stuff. And then in Threadlings, we're just embracing it more. Like we now can do more stuff, so we are doing more stuff. So there's a lot of nice things I feel that happen now that we're just working in that program.
Yeah.
I'm trying to play Tetris.
There's this thing that I saw the other day. Let me see. Let me see if I could find it. I'll probably just ask Chat GPT and I'll post this here because it's so cool.
I think I'm gonna have to like waste Udemy space. No, I got to have this up here.
Okay, this is okay. So this is for Byron. So let me pull this into a text document. Let me see where this is. Da-da-da. So I don't know if you could read that, but this is from this famous book on editing, on how you should think about whether you're cutting or not. And this is what should drive the cut. The most important thing is the emotional connection. So it's not just the emotional connection. I think it's just the emotions in general. Like, are you getting the emotion in it? The story of it is second. So let's just say, for example, in the scene that I'm editing right now, I think the most important thing. This is what I have in my mind that I'm very conscious of when I'm putting these together. That I'm thinking, oh shit, I need this. The most important part in that scene is going to be caught building up the courage to run and fight Zort. And the moment he sees that Zort is just him and Zort and he has to fight him, that fear that he has to have in his face is the most important thing, but also the moment where he thinks that his friend Mayo is in danger. Those two things are more important than anything else, right? And they're not in there right now. So I know that those things are not there. The story's there. We know that he's grabbing Mayo, he's flipping him upside down. That's fine. So all of that is there, but this emotional thing is not there. So I need to get that in there. So I need to work with the animator to get those in there and figure out what extra shots we need or adjustments to what we have. But I need to have caught freaking out that his friend is in danger and seeing it. You kind of see it here. You kind of see it there, but that moment of like, oh my God, I need to. That's why I zoomed in on his face. He's in danger. I need to do something. Okay, so that's kind of there, but I need it to be stronger, maybe even pushing tighter, but whatever. But then the moment when he goes, I need to act, he runs to fight. But then once this guy throws Mayo, Cod has to be running at him. And it's that moment of like, you're up against a big tough guy. And now that tough guy sees you coming and focuses his strength on you. And you're like, oh my God, I'm about to get my ass whooped. That moment has to be my priority. Okay, so story, I think the story, I feel fine with that. The rhythm is another thing that I'm still worried about with that. I need to make sure that the rhythm of all these shots maintains this faster cut. Um, and a lot of that is as simple as just looking at the cuts and making sure that they all kind of feel a similar length. That's going to keep it better. Not better. That's just not the right word. Just keep the rhythm the same, and then the shots will get tighter and tighter as the action builds up and builds up. So that rhythm is something that needs the most work. Usually, I start getting that. Uh,
And what
by
is this document again? Can
This is
you?
from a book called In the Blink of an Eye.
That's yeah.
Okay, another one is eye trace. So what does that mean? Eye trace is like eye lines, that making sure that the character is looking at the right direction. You can see that this is number 4 in the list of priorities. The 5 is the 2-dimensional plane of screen and the 3-dimensional space of action. So this is like the crossing the line thing. So this guy feels like that is important, but it can never sacrifice these things.
You know what's so interesting? Um, I remember very early on when we started getting into this, like these concepts, like there's a whole art to editing, obviously, right? That's why there's books and editors can win Oscars because it's such a prestigious craft. But like the first thing I thought about editing was just continuity. Like, oh, eye lines like track, right? Do eye lines track? Are we breaking 180? Um, Everything else you're saying that this guy says is priority is absolutely true. And then like just I just remember over the years like watching like a lot of behind the scenes stuff, how Martin Scorsese's editor breaks rules all the
all
time.
the time.
And this is Martin Scorsese, which means he's all the movies are phenomenal, and his
Yeah.
editor is an Oscar winner, right? She does win Oscars though.
Yeah.
So you're talking about like the top level of editing you'll ever find in this world, and that's everything that is this person, this document is saying is priority is actually her priority, and there's all kinds of continuity error, but it's all works amazing.
She's so badass.
She breaks every rule.
She she's basically edited like almost all his films, and whenever they ask her why she doesn't edit for anyone else, she's like, "Why would I edit for anyone else when I already edit for the best?" Right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
she's amazing, and her husband was a director, Thelma Shu. Her last name is a tough name, Thelma Schoonmaker. So her husband was the director of this movie called the Red Shoes, which is considered like one of the very, very, very uh, important pieces of cinema. But he died, almost 40 years ago. So he died a long time ago, 30 years ago.
yeah,
Yeah, but she's badass.
yeah. And I just think I don't know. There's just so much to know and know and just knowing like, wait a minute, you don't. These rules are important, but they're not really. They're not the main part. And I think beginners tend to, uh, when you're first starting, you tend to actually like,
Go in reverse.
yeah, you're actually emphasizing
The
this.
technical perfection, yeah.
Yeah, because those are easier to understand, I think, right? They're easy. They're concepts that are easier to grasp. Whereas, like, you talk about, I don't edit at all. Miguel does all the editing. So if you start telling me the rhythm of the editing, since I don't do it, and Miguel handles it, I can't really find the rhythm.
Yeah, but you see it when I do it.
Oh, I totally feel it, and
Like,
I understand the importance of it. But since I don't edit, and Miguel handles the editing, um, that's his thing.
yeah.
So I don't think we've talked about editing as much like as we have today. Right? So I think it's cool. I also think that's how you can tell when someone doesn't know stuff either, though, is when if they look at your editing and they go, you cross the 180, but it still completely works.
Yeah, but you should not cross your 180. Like, you shouldn't
But sometimes you have to.
yeah, but the yes. But a lot of those rules I feel are more for like live action, where it's like, "Oh fuck, this is what we have. I got to make this work with what we have." Like, when you're doing with animation, it's like, just try to get it right, because you basically are moving at slow motion. You could change the camera angle. It's not like this is all we have. We got to make do with it. So a lot of those rules, I agree with them, but I'm like,
Oh, I agree with it too. Like if like basic things in a story, like if you have a story where a character goes on an adventure and he starts from home and his destination is a castle, like basic editing is like the home might always be in the right side And so he's always, if he's traveling from his house to the castle, he might be moving from right to left. And then if you have points in the story where he's returning home, it might be left to right. And you would probably try to keep those things consistent generally. I don't know. Like basic, like that's what that's for, I think. It's just so you don't have like characters going left to right, right to left, and then it makes no sense. Like you have to intuitively feel like you know where the character is going. That's what I assume.
Yeah. So let's see what that is. So you see, even that helps out. It's not the right angle. I don't have the Maya file for this. That's why I'm like trying to.
Trying to work with what you have. So I'm finally wrapping up this thing, these flags. All this boring stuff here. I have like my UVs, which is great. It's just going to speed up texturing a lot, especially if we outsource this stuff so that we can get more work done in other areas.
Yeah. This week was
Was a lot of work.
pretty incredibly insane week for us.
Yeah. Um, this thing is so slow because these pieces of fabric are so large. Okay, some of this stuff is falling off.
Let's see. You know what? I actually let's we should wrap it up early today just because I gotta get to the airport.
Yeah.
So okay, so let me see.
I mean, I'm pretty much done with this thing. I just have to patiently wait for it to sim. Let's get some air pressure. So your question from Sohi, she asked it a little earlier. How many idioms would you usually use for this large environment? Would you split it into multiple substance pairing files? I usually use, I don't know how many idioms. It's based on resolution. Basically, it's, so everything I work at life size. And when I look at the UVs, because everything is in Marvelous, all the UVs done in Marvelous, um, your UV size is like set. So when I switch over into, the UV view mode, my shells are a certain size that are based on a certain texel resolution that is scale based. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's automatically figured out for me. And I basically stick to that resolution, and that's how I know how to cut. Um, it works. I know that if I keep that resolution, it holds up pretty well. And then how do I split it? It's by assets. Everything is just more. So this air is not holding well. Uh, everything is according to just individual assets, if that makes sense. So like these flags, there's no reason why I would put them on a building. So it's how basically how modular everything feels. And then if they're really big pieces, they're broken according to like models, right? So, you know, if a column can be one and all these parts could be one piece, or they could be reused. There's not like a way. It's just per objects basically. This air, this is too big. I gotta decrease this.
Let me upload.
Since my flag is like acting very weird. So my simulation starts running really, really slow. Like right now, mine is, if you were to see my little thumbnail, it's really tiny. So like for the environments and the threading stuff, it's super modular. I just have the low res crap here, but you can also see how big, because Ka is like this size, all the characters, they're supposed to be small. So we cheat the camera, like the depth of field of it, but they're like gigantic characters. There might be like a column section here, a door section here, you know, or like this archway is very modular. And so everything is built kind of like Lego blocks, like, except maybe you're not aware, like you can't see the Lego blocks as easily, if that makes sense. I need to change what I'm doing because my cloth is responding very poorly. And the way it's curling over is really weird. Okay. Yeah, so everything is very, very modular in all these environments. So I build as little as I can. They're still big modular pieces. They still take time. And right now, if you were to see my screen, all I'm doing, I don't know if you want to switch over my screen, is I'm just letting it sim.
Yeah, you absolutely should. I don't.
Yeah, you're not moving. I'm just waiting for it to
I'm actually just
relax.
writing long notes to the animator.
I'm having issues with trying to get this to relax. So I'm going to delete this layer. It's just, it's too heavy. And I'm going to let this relax. Kind of smooth itself out and so that it drapes nicely. And then I'm going to freeze it. some of the freezing features on this are, in this version is really messed up. Okay, it feels like it's relaxed because it was curling all weird. Okay, so I'll grab this and freeze this. And then the thing that I notice is sometimes it doesn't fully freeze. So I just been, I think it has to do with like Marvelous has like partial freezing. And so like some of the stuff is not fully freezing. And it's making it weird. Let's flip this normal. Let's put cotton sateen and then I'll unfreeze this one. So my base is frozen. This way I can do all kinds of weird stuff to this to make this look much nicer. Because I want that quilted look. We'll also give it air pressure. So the back side remains flat, which, I wish it wasn't, but it's what it is. I mean, if I didn't want it to be flat, what I can do, I can do a few things, which is a few extra steps, but I'll show you. Okay, so this looks good now in terms of its puffiness, its volume. Let me save this. This is going to get slow. And I'm going to do this so I can get quilting on the other side. A lot of times, like I leave the back side so they're like this because they're on the floor or something. This one I do see the back, so I should probably do this correctly. I'm going to bring this to like 10 resolution, particle distance, which should up-res this to something like this. And then I'll sim it. I might need to bring it down even lower if I want more. It's like super crinkly now. If I don't want it to be this crinkly, what I can do is push the air pressure more. So let's say, let's make it 30. And it might like kind of smooth out a lot of those crinkled parts. I could also not let the cloth be as big. So the cloth is bigger in the back or bigger in the front right here. I think I'm good with these crinkles because they disappear in lighting very easily. So I'll save this because I'm saving a lot because this could explode. Then I'll grab this, freeze this, unfreeze this back here. I'll come back to the front and do that weird partial freeze, select all. I don't know. I have to look into that because it's a feature that I never paid attention to before. And I'll take this and make this puffier and give this, air pressure. And then give it a cloth that it can puff up better in, which is cotton sateen. Okay, so now we're getting the backside. I can't do both at the same time. Anyway, that's it. I'm pretty much done. I think that's all we'll have for today. And we're not going to stream this Friday because
Yeah, we're gonna be out of town.
yeah.
But we will return in
January.
Yeah, January. First week of January we'll be back.
Yeah. All right,
What
everyone.
is that? The 3rd. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is basically the day that we arrive. So I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about, but we'll figure that out. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. So thank you so much and Happy New Year. This was one of the most important years of our life. So it was pretty cool to share it with you guys. And yeah, thank you so much. And you should have some cool stuff to share next year.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone.
All right. See ya. Let me do this over here. Let's see. Okay, there we go. See you guys.
See ya.
Goodbye.